Okay. So, hello, Tante. Welcome to uh, the Cooperatives First, uh, our first event here, which is a co-op spotlight. And in this co-op spotlight, we are actually asking co-ops, clients, and finding the why. Like, why did you start a co-op and what motivates you? So, Co-operatives First is a nonprofit business development organization focused on creating co-ops throughout Western Canada. And we are situated on Treaty 6 and the homeland of the Métis here in Saskatoon. We're welcoming you here today, and we are so happy that we have five of our clients and great co-ops that are doing amazing things in their communities. So I want to thank you all for joining and thanking the guests for participating here today. So I usually do introductions, but actually I want to hear from the co-ops themselves and get their introductions talking about who they are and what their co-op does. And then really talk about what motivated them to start their co-ops. So I am going to start with Kathy Edwards from the Heart Linked Community Services Co-op. So thank you, Kathy.
Hi, Trista. Welcome, everyone. So, I'm really fortunate that I get to wear two hats today. I'll be primarily speaking about my role as one of the founding members of HeartLinked, but I have met a few of you also in my role as entrepreneur in residence at Co-operatives First. So, I provide business coaching and support services to startup cooperatives to really help ensure that you guys can flourish and grow successfully. We don't want to just start co-ops, we want to start successful co-ops. And that's across all spectrums of the business. Whether you're not for profit or for profit, we are here to support. So my cooperative, as Trista mentioned, is the Heart-Linked Community Service Cooperative. Our cooperative provides mental health and wellness programming to primarily Indigenous youth, and we serve communities from northern Saskatchewan, where there is a high need for this type of programming, but often a lack of access or lack of funding for programming and resources. So, it's interesting because most people would assume that I founded this co-op after I started my work with Cooperatives First, but it was exactly the opposite. So our cooperative grew out of community need. And that's really what we see as the catalyst for so many cooperatives. It's a group of people coming together to solve a problem. And that's really when magic can happen. And in our particular circumstances, there were suicide clusters going on in these northern communities. And a very good lifelong friend of mine has been integral in the school division. And it was over a Christmas glass of wine that we were having a conversation, and she was explaining to me about the crisis that many of these communities were in. And we were talking about how there was so many challenges getting federal funding or provincial funding to move in the right ways to really help the right people. And I'm not from a mental health background. I'm a business person, but I like to think of myself as a problem solver. And so I said, well, couldn't we do something? Isn't there something just a regular mom can do? And that's how our organization was born. It was a group of moms who said, we may not have the mental health programming or the trauma facilitation programming, but we can find those people. But we are moms. We know how to make people feel secure, comfortable, and loved. And at the most primary level, that's what all people need. So we started hosting retreats back in 2016, and very quickly the Northern Lights School Division said, this is awesome. We're seeing dramatic impact on the youth that you work with. So we realized very quickly that we needed to become a formal organization. And it was actually one of our other founding members who was exploring on the internet to find the right fit. And just I actually have a background in law, and a standard corporate model didn't feel congruent with what we wanted to accomplish. And she shared the website with me and she said, would should we consider being a cooperative? And ultimately, that's what we did. So, my first exposure to Cooperatives First was through just reaching out for support on the website and then getting the phenomenal firsthand experience of being taken through the incorporation process, preparing our bylaws and our articles of incorporation, and then, of course, moving on to operate successfully. Realistically, a cooperative is a business model. It's a legal vehicle or a legal organization, just like any other. But what it represents is a collective voice. And I think that's what's really important. The amount or number of dollars that you contribute to the organization doesn't give you more or less power at the table. The power of the table is the individual voice. And that was really important for us, particularly because we are a group of non-Indigenous women who want to help and serve Indigenous communities. So we wanted to be sure our structure and our approach was one of collaboration, listening, and support. And the cooperative model really achieved that beautifully for us. So that is my story in terms of the cooperative that we've built and developed. But since that time, I've had the joy of working with Cooperatives First and helping all sorts of cooperatives get started. So, Ron, thinking about your community venture, we've seen that a number of times where a key service is closing in a community, and it's the cooperative model that retains that asset and that service for the community. So it's a great fit. So I'm not sure if I've answered all of the questions, but you can feel free to hop back to me if you need anything, Trista.
Thank you so much, Kathy. That's amazing, and I love hearing stories and seeing what HeartLinked is doing and the like the great impact you guys are having. So thank you. Um, so next co-op that we are going to highlight is the Cooperative Flower Network, and we have Brianna with us today. So
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Trista. Um, yeah, so I guess to answer the first question, the name of our cooperative is the Cooperative Flower Network. Um, do I just keep jumping through the questions? That's okay, Trista?
that is fine.
Okay. So what does our co-op do? So similar to what Kathy had mentioned, I mean, ours is a bit different, but we found as flower farmers, we were all facing a very similar problem. This problem was that we were finding it difficult to reach our florists, which is our ideal customer, and our florists were also struggling to reach us. So these individual farms around the Edmonton area were spending countless hours just responding to inboxes full of messages asking if we had this specific flower in this quantity at this time. And oftentimes our farm itself wouldn't be able to fulfill that order. So we'd send like a text chain out to all these 11 other farms asking if somebody could fulfill this order. So it just was a real pinch point in a lot of our businesses. Everybody that's in our co-op owns their own farm. We're all sole proprietors. So it sort of made sense for us to band together and create a producer co-op that would allow us to become sort of like a wholesale flower market and distribution hub. So we've eliminated all that extra work that's involved with, sending out this text chain, trying to find who has this set amount of flowers for the specific customer, and sort of how our co-op now operates. Um, is that we do like a weekly pickup option for our florists, so they'll be able to shop online. All the farms upload their products on by like Sunday evening, and then our florists can go in and shop from all the farms in our area. We've got 14 farms that are part of our co-op now. And then on Wednesdays, we have a central location where our customers can come and pick up their product. So previous to starting the co-op, like florists would either farms are driving out and doing deliveries themselves, or florists were coming to our farms and picking up. So it just really streamlined a lot of stuff and just honestly makes our lives a lot easier because farming is incredibly busy during the summer season. So yeah, it's really helped us streamline a lot of things. It also has allowed us to provide florists with dependable access to Alberta grown flowers. So, sort of where I was mentioning that maybe we would have a certain variety of flower but are not able to meet the quantity. That's where we can rely on other farms to help create that quantity, I guess, or give the customer exactly what it is that they need. So yeah, since opening our first market in 2023, we have grown quite a bit. I'd say our revenue has doubled or more than doubled in the last season here each year. We've also been able to take on 5 new grower members just to sort of meet the demand. So it's going really good. I guess that's what kind of answers question 3, what has motivated us to start the co-op? Again, it's just so that we can really create a unified space for our clients to reach us, and kind of combine our strengths and present like a unified professional supply of locally grown flowers. Yeah, that's about it.
Yeah, that's amazing. And I really want to go back. It was amazing to see how many flowers when we got to visit, uh, when I got to
Yeah.
actually visit the pickup spot. So, and how much it's grown since then. So
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah, we're in a new location now because we have so many flowers that spot wasn't big enough for us. So yeah, we're just in a spot downtown there and it's been working out really good. More space for all the flowers.
yeah. And the model itself for with having the independent businesses, sole proprietors working together to benefit everybody, I think is just a great use of the model.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you very much, Brianne. And so we are going to move on to a housing co-op. So I know people have been hearing a lot and seeing a lot of housing co-ops uh in the news and like really interested in starting one. So we have Jillian from the Rooted Community Housing Co-op joining us to talk about their cooperative.
Thanks. Thanks for inviting me to talk about this, Trista. It's really nice to see you again. And Kathy, we've been working with Kathy for a while now. So yeah, I didn't know about the co-op. So we're always focused on what we're doing. So that's really cool to hear about yeah, the work that you're involved in outside of just supporting co-ops like ours. Sorry, just getting over cold. Um, And yeah, Brianna, just hearing about the like a flower cooperative, you kind of get like in your own little bubble and you forget that there's like so many different types of co-ops out there. So ours is a community housing cooperative model. And it is hypothetical right now. We've came together, a group of friends, gosh, almost 3 years ago, started having conversations about, wanting to live closer to one another, wanting to support each other, I have, I mean, my daughter was 3 at the time. She's now 5. And yeah, just being a parent in the world is like a lot of work. And so, yeah, you need a village. And that was kind of part of the reason why I wanted to um, come together with other people. And then as we started doing some research in the community, we're in Edmonton, and so we just started reaching out to existing co-ops and did a couple tours of some of the more prominent ones, two of the oldest co-ops, Sundance and Kigano. And they told us that smaller co-ops kind of struggle, the housing co-ops, because you have a smaller pool of labor to pull from. Um, so we're keeping that in mind. And then the federal government, we knew that there was $1.5 billion in housing, co-op housing money coming from the CHDP, Cooperative Housing Development Program. And so we were kind of, decided to go all in and start proposing to the city to access uh, city-owned land that they would dispose of at below market value for affordable housing. The city has a program for that. So we started preparing for that, and the sites that they had available weren't really what we wanted. It wasn't really central, and um, and the program. Sorry, I forgot to mention the CHDP. They're going for scale, so they want you to have like 75 plus units minimum to access their funding. And so, yeah, and we're like, although the group of us, we have a lot of knowledge about housing and development and, you know, community building and all that, um, you still need money and land to get started with anything. And so that has been our biggest hurdle. Um, and yeah, just recently, a couple months ago, we kind of decided to scale back and try a different approach, going for kind of going back to the original, what we had talked about originally with like one or two houses like side by side and kind of just having like an open yard kind of thing and running it in a cooperative way. And so, yeah, we'll probably be looking to do like a community bond campaign to raise money for the down payment for a corporate mortgage or a commercial mortgage, which you have to have like 25% down payment minimum. And so, yeah, kind of gearing up for that. Yeah, we're talking about transition. Kathy, I am talking about transitioning to an Indigenous-led cooperative, because the need is so great amongst Indigenous communities, and I'm Métis. I have my own struggles, and I don't want to live on my own with my daughter. I want to be raised with other, loving, caring adults and other kids, and yeah, kind of building that village. And so yeah, I've been reaching out to different organizations in the community here, like Edmonton Two Spirit Society. They're about to open a shelter here in Edmonton, and so once that gets going, it sounds like they might be interested in more permanent housing options, and so this could be a good fit for that if we do transition to an Indigenous co-op, which basically would mean your board has to be 51% or more Indigenous. And yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. I don't, I feel like I was kind of all over the place. Yeah, I mean, housing is, we all know it's in a state of crisis right now, and the co-op model is just like it's coming into its moment again, I think, in like a new way, for housing specifically. Um, and so, yeah, I think that, with people struggling to access home ownership, which is like how we have structured our society, that is how you prepare for retirement, is you buy a house, you pay it off, and then you retire, you sell it, and you live off of that. You downsize, and then that's your kind of nest egg. And increasingly, especially, millennials and Gen Z, they're increasingly not able to access that. And so how are we going to sustain ourselves into our later years without that? And so I think having these alternative models, and incorporating equity within the housing model, for individuals, I think is going to be really key going forward. yeah, I think that's all I have to say for now. Thanks.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jillian. Um, I think co-op housing is such an amazing way to go. And it's funny, I actually was chatting with another client who's looking at co-op housing, and some of the things that you said really resonated that because I don't live in a co-op housing, I live alone. And he's like, so how connected to your neighbors and community are you? Like honestly, without that co-op housing, yeah, there is no connection. So it's amazing that you're taking that on and trying to build that village, because I think that's really needed at this time. So yeah, thank you and for sharing like the realities of the complexities of trying to start co-op housing. So thank you, Jillian. Okay, so we're gonna move on to our next co-op. It is David with the Virtual Reality Builders Cooperative. And this is our newest co-op that cooperatives have Co-operatives First has incorporated, because they're a co-op as of about 24 hours ago. So welcome, David.
Thank you. Thank you, Trista. You took my first line of my little speech that I'd
Oh,
prepared. That's fine. So I wanted to thank you for the opportunity to talk about the co-op, but because we've just formed, I'm going to be a little bit all over the map as well, so you'll have to bear with me. But we were brand new as of yesterday's incorporation, and we actually started the process last August. The three of us got together and began talking about different ways that we could bring people together that are builders in virtual reality. And there was a bit of a learning curve for sure, exploring what was happening. And so I'll answer the questions as I go. So the official name of the co-op is Virtual Reality Builders Cooperative. However, our working name may end up being somewhat brief to represent our brand, something like VR Build Co. Canada, for example. We haven't sorted that out yet. We were waiting for the incorporation to get the final details and our logo and so on. We're primarily a marketing co-op engaged in the cooperative development of projects where all of the contributors who make design, engineering, and administrative decisions as a project group will do that with the guidance and mentorship of our board. And we are engaged in reaching customers looking to enter the next level of civilized social interaction. And one of the things that's most interesting about virtual reality is that it puts people in a position where they can really get a present sense of who each other is. And that's kind of exciting for people of all ages. We primarily deal with adults and seniors, not so much with kids. So the teams that will be working on these projects are everyone that's involved in graphics, 3D modeling, technical coders, visionaries who bring worlds to life. And of course, social VR means opportunities to become moderators and session leaders and guides depending on the principal concept that's being created. And I realize as I say this now that it must sound somewhat ethereal, because in a way, virtual reality is a reflection of a lot of the things that go on in our regular lives. The teams may include musicians and videographers, editors, scriptwriters, and storyboard developers. So virtual reality builders have traditionally been either completely independent or subjected to the rules of large corporations primarily based south of the border. With the climate changing, independence is required for both creativity, organizational structure around valuable, meaningful work with Canadian alternatives. The relationships with other creative organizations and services in other countries are being established as well. So in the beginning, we looked at how social VR was working for creative individuals and other small developer groups and small teams of developers that were building social virtual reality spaces. We looked at how their work was being modeled and captured, and to some extent by large tech firms that were not really giving them much autonomy. Canada's culture of diversity and inclusion was being eroded in virtual reality development, and we wanted to sort of tackle that head on and give people in Canada an opportunity to work within a co-op structure where we can help them. So after researching the options, it was a logical step to want to create a homegrown environment that would give individual creators and developers an opportunity to be in control of their own projects and the direction and funding. I love the co-op model. I was involved in a co-op in the late 60s. I don't know anybody goes back that far. But it was my first taste of how things can work when people come together. And so the three of us in this co-op have had an opportunity to work with many people in large corporations and small individual businesses. And after reviewing all the best options for setting up a new type of organization, the timing was right when I happened upon a YouTube video by Co-operatives First that explained in some detail what was involved with the process. It just seemed like the right fit. So we went ahead, and we're very happy to be here today. So thank you so much.
Thank you, David, and congratulations again for your incorporation. I know we worked hard on this for the fall and did a little bit of hiccups, but outside of both of our control, we got it registered, and yeah, so congratulations.
Thank you.
So I am going to switch gears here and talk to the Southeast Community Services Cooperative. It's great to see them again. We have Monique and Martin to talk about their cooperative, and one that I also like. Everyone here today, I have such a great connection with, but Southeast is probably one of the first ones that I learned about, and when I started working with Cooperatives First, so we have a great relationship with them. So, welcome, uh, Monique and Martin.
Thank you, Trista. So I'm Monique Chenier. I'm the Economic Development Manager for the RM of Piney in Southeast Manitoba. Martin is the board chair of the Southeast Community Services Co-op, and I serve as an advisor to that board. So our co-op was incorporated in October 2020 as a nonprofit community services co-op with the intent to provide sort of a variety of services. It started as a partnership of the East Borderland Community Housing, a nonprofit community group that was looking at seniors housing, our Piney Regional Chamber of Commerce, and the rural municipality of Piney. So those three organizations each provided 2 members to the inaugural board of directors. Now we have a full elected board of 9 people from a really wide cross section of the region, and brought together some experts to really help us move this along. In 2020, we developed a detailed business plan for the first project we were undertaking, Timberline Community Housing. And that was with a great deal of help from Cooperatives First and Kyle White. So thank you. In 2021, we received a Co-operators Foundation grant, which allowed us to conduct some in-depth market research on our housing project. In 2023, we received some funding, seed funding through the Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation to start the architectural schematics. We received a second round of funding, which helped us to further refine that and start getting some more detailed budgets in place. We currently have 207 individual members and a couple of business members as well. So our first project, Timberline Community Housing, is planned to be a 20-room assisted living housing community in Sprague, Manitoba. The land has been donated by East Borderland Community Housing. It's a 14,000 square foot fully accessible building, including 500 square foot unfurnished suites, which includes a fully accessible 3-piece washroom, hookups for mini fridge, microwave, phone, and television. And we have 18-hour a day, 7-day a week on-site assistance, not medical services, but supervisory services and staffed. A central dining room and living area. And within a very competitive monthly rent, we plan to offer meals, laundry service, and housekeeping for the 20 residents of the building. Now I'll turn it over to Martin to talk about our motivation.
Yes, so I'm the president for the Southeast Community Services Co-op, but I also wear the hat as the local administrator for the municipality here. And within our municipality, we've actually got a long history of need for support services, assisted living options for our older demographic that lives out here. Our average age doesn't fit with the provincial norm, so our community tends to be a retirement community. And we watch a lot of our retirees once their health and their needs increase, that they actually have to leave this beautiful area of the province. So EBCH was working on options, and they really had a 3-phased approach for support, first independent living, and then as individuals age, they looked at supportive and assisted living, and then full-on personal care home. EBCH was successful in 2012, working with Manitoba Housing, so the provincial government, to get an independent living community built here in the community of Sprague. And all the buildings are to be centrally located, so it provides for a beautiful transition from one support to the next support to the next support. And there's a primary healthcare center located on the property itself. So EBCH was at the point of now looking at phase 2, which was the assisted living. And as with many communities, the volunteer base for that organization was starting to burn out, for lack of better words. They were aging, and they were needing the services themselves. And they actually approached the municipality to investigate what options there would be to help phase 2 move along. And we started a project first of looking at what those options are, whether it was community development corporation, condo housing. How could we fulfill this need for phase 2? And co-ops was one of those options. And we had I met Kyle actually at one of our local AMM conventions way back when, pre-pandemic and everything. And the co-op model was definitely the model that rose to the surface. And it really rose to the surface because of its ability to be flexible and meet the community's needs. And the concept when we started to build it out, and it was work to build out, but it was rewarding work to build it out, to get that framework in place and see the community come together. And for me, at the start of the pandemic and what we were seeing in for-profit run assisted living communities and supportive housing communities, where during the pandemic, the focus wasn't necessarily on the residents because of that profit formula that exists in some of these privately run facilities. We realized just how strong of a concept that we had, because the co-op model really is one that is community owned, operated by the community, and meets the community needs. So with our model, we have the ability to be responsive as the times change, because it really will be our friends and family that will use the facility. So um, all of us that are participating in the co-op model, and the members that participate, we really see the value and in the benefits of the model. So and really, we've come a long ways with the work that we've done. We still got a lot more work to do. It's our primary project, Timberline Community Housing, is a large project, but I can tell you in this time of need, we're seeing more interest by the higher levels of government as well. So I think we'll end it there. And for Monique and myself, we put our phone number in the chat. Anybody wants to discuss, by all means, give either one of us a call.
Thank you so much, Martin and Minik. It's been amazing knowing you guys and all the work that everybody's done. Um, so I am going to just like for everybody who's coming in and seeing the different co-ops that we're spotlighting here today, the different models, the ways people have been used, the different members. It's such a versatile model, from individuals, sole proprietors to different government entities. Uh, right now, we are going to open it up for questions for any of our co-ops here today. Um, I really believe that we learn from each other and the ones that have actually been through it. So please feel free to ask any questions if you want to put your question in the chat, or raise your hand and just ask out loud. So feel free. This is a time that we could learn from each other. We could learn from the co-op, and we have our first question from JP.
Hi,
So
I'm coming to you from Souk, British Columbia. A very wet Souk, British Columbia, last couple days. My question, and it's not directed to any specific co-op, but I think we're dealing here with a co-op in the initial launch stage, and the one of the challenges we're facing, and I'm assuming you've all done it, is funding for staff once you get to the point that you need one. Any guidance, any miracles, any thoughts that anybody has would be greatly appreciated.
I can hop on and offer a little bit of feedback. So, depending on the size and nature of your organization and how complex your needs are, there are a few really tremendous Government of Canada grants to encourage partnership with post-secondary students. So, if you're for some reason, if you need any digital or tech needs, there's currently a grant that will pay up to 50% of a student's and it's for the winter term. So you could hire someone to assist with all of your tech needs. But I've also used the summer student program in a number of cooperative environments, just to help build that administrative foundation and take some of the burden off of volunteers. That's one of the biggest challenges to a startup co-op is volunteer burnout.
Absolutely. Well, that's we can access some of those, but where we're really facing a challenge is executive director funding. As many of us know, government programs are very, very good at funding activities, but as soon as you say operational funding,
Yes.
and that's, we've all faced that. I just thought I'd throw it out there to see if some province has come up with the magic answer.
We have another little bit of a different approach. I mean, our board is a volunteer board as well, but I don't serve on the board. I serve as an advisor to the board. So I'm the economic development manager for the rural municipality and council at the RM. And my board of directors has supported my involvement in this project because it is part of our municipal priorities. So I do have, some time allocated that is paid for within my job that I assist and move things along. So that has helped. So partnering up with your local government to see if your economic development manager, can help support some of the work behind the scenes. It's certainly not a full-time role, but it does help.
Have you ever run into a conflict between those two responsibilities?
So far not, because housing and our communities are such a high priority for the RM. It definitely falls in line with their strategic plan. Housing is a strategic priority of our economic development plan, so there's very good alignment there. So, at this point, it's been working well for the last 6 years.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions, or Kevin, has
Yeah.
there?
Yeah, we have one from Sarah there about challenges raising capital for their co-op, and are there distinct challenges between for-profit versus not-for-profit?
Thanks, Kevin. I don't know if anyone needs clarification, but I haven't had specific challenges, but just in looking into building a data cooperative, just wondering, yeah, but how to raise capital for the kind of the technical kind of build out as it gets bigger and needs kind of more of an infusion of capital and how that might work or look.
We can talk to our experience, but we're a nonprofit, and our capital needs exceed 7 million for the construction of the assisted living community. And we've been successful in securing grant funding from organizations like Co-operatives First, the Co-operatives Foundation, and then government agencies like Community Housing and Mortgage, CMC, sorry, Community Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation. Sorry, I got those two mixed up. CMHC. So we've been able to secure funding that way to help establish some of the framework that's needed to get things moving forward. But yeah, certainly for us, the larger pot of funding is difficult to secure. And in our approach, we are working with multiple funders to look at supporting and funding the project. So right from the Manitoba Métis Federation through to the municipal government, the provincial government, and the federal government. One of the challenges with that is to get all the funding to line up on a timeline, because you may be able to secure funding from the province, which will follow their fiscal period. In the province of Manitoba, that ends March 31st, which aligns with the federal government, but you may not necessarily have the federal funding committed. So there is a little bit of a challenge to get the stars lined up. So those are some of the things that we've experienced thus far and had success with as well, because
Okay.
there are some successes.
And has anyone done any kind of raises of capital that's like private capital?
I'm about to assist Jillian with that. Jillian's from Rooted Cooperative. So we are going to, because we've now, the group has decided to pivot and move away from some of the big federal funding programs, we're going to be looking at a community bond fundraise. So, and there are some not-for-profit organizations that can help with not-for-profit fundraising. So I'm not sure if you're under the for-profit or the not-for-profit umbrella, but there are some resources for not-for-profits to use the community bond fundraising tool.
Is it only for not-for-profits that can use the community bond?
No, it's just that the resources offered by this organization that helps you set it up at a very, very low cost. There are special entities that work for not-for-profits, but you could use a community bond or a community investment fund or a community investment co-op as another vehicle to raise funds.
That's super helpful. I would love to be connected with you, Kathy, because I have been asking around about community bonds and I haven't found anyone who's done it within the cooperative space.
Awesome. You can connect with me. I'll put my email in the chat.
Super. Thank
Kathy
you.
is queen. She's well connected and knows all the things. Thank you for answering that question because you answer it much better than I could. And there's an organization out of Newfoundland. They're funded through CMHC's Housing Solutions Lab, and so they're putting out resources on. They have like webinars and things. They're called Reclaim Community Development Cooperative. I can grab the link, but they've had some webinars on like Tapestry Capital, and they also are involved in a mutual home ownership society cooperative in Newfoundland called Killick Eco Village, and that just is like such a cool, innovative model. And I'm sure, yeah, they would. I think they did a community bond campaign, but yeah, they have resources as well.
Thank you, Jillian. Is there any other questions for our co-ops?
Yeah, I have one. Very good discussion. We're going to be a for-profit co-op if there's a service station there now that probably needs a little bit of work, but it's got a gas station and a garage and a restaurant. The restaurant's been closed for a while. There's a guy still working in the gas station, but they just closed the doors and walked away, so we have no idea what they owe on it or what it's worth. So we're trying to get a hold of the owners to see what kind of a price they might want for it. So by listening to everybody, I'm pretty sure we'll have to do a business plan once we know all of the facts, what it is we're going to have to spend on it to get it into where we can run it again, and I guess the value to the community. So there would be like the funding. Now I made a note here. Somebody was involved. Oh, Kevin, yeah, like Co-op First out of Saskatoon. Was there funding involved in anything there at all, or any co-ops provide funding? Is there just for business plans and those kind of things? But as far as buying something, you'd have to go to the market or the community bond of some kind, I would think.
Okay, so if you don't mind, I can take this question. So Cooperatives First is a nonprofit. We do not offer any type of funding, but what we do is we help with the awareness and education of co-ops. So if there are people that you're looking to reach out and providing that educational support of what a co-op is, the model, and what we can do, that would be great. If you're just really wanting to get started and seeing the idea, like I really recommend that you reach out to Cooperatives First. Go to our website. There's a request for support form, and you'll be matched with um, one of our team members to start working with you to developing the structure to help, what questions you need to get some members. Um, we also provide like that governance supports and the structure of how people are going to work together. So it does sound like a consumer co-op that you're looking to do. And so we could talk to you about that and the different funding or financing structures that you will need. We do not provide any kind of financing or funding, but we do provide the business support, which is essentially working with Kathy and getting support with our business coach on where you can find that type of financing or funding or working with you to get that capital. But we as an organization do not have those we do not fund co-ops, but we could help you and point you in the right direction.
Okay, well, thank you for that. Now, what about the Canadian Co-op Investment Fund? They have flexible patient capital to co-ops. Now, that would just be kind of to get them started, or that would be a grant, or would that be just a loan? I think Heather was talking about that.
Okay, so I haven't does the co-op investment fund?
Yes.
I think Heather must have hopped off the call. Hey,
Oh,
she was in on here, but
I mean, I attended a workshop by the CIF a couple of weeks ago on that, and what I took away from it is in many ways a lender, not a funder.
mhm.
And they will provide they have funds available to put out on a mortgaged basis um, at reasonable rates or at rates less than you might face as a first time going into the private equity aspect. They would also supply assistance as how to put lending applications together, and they do have some ties to some private equity firms that they could work in partnership with. So that's my understanding of it. And then the only thing, and I was going to say one other thing with respect to the gas station thing, when you said they just walked away, I'm actually originally from Regina, um, worked many years as a lawyer there. When that happened, watch out for environmental cleanup bills that they've hidden. That's often the way they or why they walk away. And it might be better just to get a new piece of land and start from scratch.
Yeah, I appreciate that. But about 10 years ago, it was all redone because they
Okay.
bought it. So I think we're all right there, but who knows what happened. But
Yeah.
again, that's very good advice. I appreciate that.
Ron, I'm
Okay.
not sure. Ron, I'm not sure how the community futures funding works in Saskatchewan, but they're a strong contender in Manitoba. Uh, they are a last resort lender, but this is a for-profit structure, and it would be worthwhile to talk to your community futures organization that services your area to see what options they have and what support they have as well.
They have a ton of support for helping with business plans. So They certainly have templates that I provide to business owners all the time that can help you start getting your thoughts down on paper, and they will review those with you. They will help you work through all the financial statements that you need to go to lenders. So certainly Community Futures would be a huge resource for you. They are funded federally and don't charge for a lot of those services that help you get through the business planning process. And, you know, coming up with, like you said, what's the value of the business? How do we fund it and go from there? So good option.
Yeah, I think that I forgot about community futures, but yeah, that's a very good point. I really appreciate that.
Okay. So if there are no other questions, going once, going twice. Um, okay. So I want to thank everybody for joining here today. Uh, this is, I'm hoping, is the first of many co-op spotlights because I am truly amazed of the connections that we've been making with people who've actually gone through the process, who understand and can learn off each other. Just seeing the people who joined us here today and everybody's knowledge and experience and sharing that is so valuable. So I want to thank everybody once again for showing up. And before I close it off, I am going to go around to the our guests here today. If you just want to have anything, closing thoughts, anything coming up, anything we should be aware of, um, to talk about your co-op, you're free for the next minute or so. Just the floor is open for you. So, I will actually change it back up and go with the Southeast Community Services Co-op if you want to. Any final thoughts?
You haven't, if those on the call haven't tapped into Cooperatives First, what an amazing team. And, looking at the co-op model to help or as a solution for whatever problem that you're facing, because I was absolutely amazed at how co-ops can fit. I'm going to say just about any scenario, whether it's profit, nonprofit, buying groups, and so on. It really needs to be considered. So, community owned, community operated.
Thank you so much. David, any final thoughts?
Gotta hit the right button there. Yeah, I'm pleasantly surprised by the sense of community that is developed every time I attend one of these types of events, and I've tried to attend as many as I can. The sense of community that comes across, to me, it's really hopeful, and that being able to be a part of the co-op movement and extend that into my own community, it's pretty exciting, especially in the times that we're in right now, to have that level of presence and humanity going on. I really appreciate it. So, and without Cooperatives First, I wouldn't have even touched on this. So thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, David. Jillian, any final thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, was it okay. Martin, you stole what I was going to say. Cooperatives First is amazing. We would have given up a long time ago. Because we just faced hurdles with housing, but yeah, can't thank and praise them enough.
Um, so before I let you off the hook, Julian. I want to ask you something, is how can we support um or anybody out there, because I know you're going to be doing a community bond, any um feel free to, yeah, like once that actually kicks off, just um
Yeah, I don't know. I think like a big part of it will just be getting our message out of what we're trying to do, getting a website, doing all that marketing communication stuff and getting out in the community and talking to people, and getting them excited about what we're trying to do. I think will be the biggest thing. So
okay.
yeah.
Well, yeah, just I'll keep in touch, and yeah, anything that we can do to support you to get you up and running. That okay. Brianna, is there any final thoughts? Anything coming up that you want everybody to know about?
I guess just to echo what everyone else has been saying, that I don't think we would have been able to do this without Cooperatives First. I wasn't a board member when our co-op first started, but my sister was, so I heard a lot about what was going on, and I know that we relied on you guys quite a bit just for any questions that popped up. You were always so helpful and would answer questions right away, which was great. I think we worked a lot with Kyle, I believe. And yeah, he was great. We really enjoyed the whole process. We just finished up our third year, so we kind of feel like we have a better handle on things now. But yeah, I mean, just like running any business, there's always challenges. So staffing, I know, was it Ron? No, not Ron. Somebody else was asking about when to get employees, and that's something we are looking at now. We did hire somebody through the summer just to help us run the market because we were relying on just volunteer time. And because we're also busy with our farms, it just made sense at that point. And our co-op was bringing in enough revenue to be able to employ some staff to help us out with that. So now we're kind of looking at how we can expand that employee's role to minimize the amount of volunteering. And again, it'll be like a democratic process where we come up with a solution for that. So yeah, co-ops are great.
It's amazing. Thank you so much. Um, Kathy, any final thoughts? Anything you want to promote?
I think it's the versatility of the cooperative model that needs to be the big takeaway because it can really suit so many needs and provide a vehicle to create a truly community-based solution. So when you talk about, the gas station closing, one of the most interesting co-ops I worked in was when they closed the theater in Weyburn and the community came together and started a not-for-profit community service co-op and saved their town theater. And, it was big business had chosen to leave because the margins weren't good enough, but the margins were well enough to keep the lights on and the popcorn popping and employment in the community. So it's a really beautiful vehicle. And I would encourage anyone to reach out and work with us. It's a great place to work. And it was the supports that I received that made me want to learn more and be part of this terrific organization.
Thank you so much, Kathy. It's been amazing to, yeah, it's the last hour, very inspiring and really, I'm really thankful to be working and supporting, just being part of the team that does all this amazing work. Um, so thank you for spending the last hour with us, and I hope everybody has a great holiday season. So until next time, muestes, and I'll see you again.